Welcome back to another edition of The Schmidt Show here on News Radio 1029 KARN. I am your host, Brad Schmidt. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. 501-403-KARN, 501-403-5276. If you want to join the conversation, be a part of the discussion. We're in the studio today. I've got my sweatshirt on. It's been a little chilly the last couple of days, so I actually got I've got my Aston Martin Formula One racing team sweatshirt on today. If you're watching in the studio, you can see that, or if you're watching online, I mean through the YouTube channel, our website, or through Twitter or whatever, you can see that I've got my sweatshirt on, trying to stay warm today. It's a little chilly out there, and looks like it's going to be a pretty nice week next week, as a little bit cooler this weekend. So looking forward to that. And as we get ready for next week, speaking of that, it is early voting kicking off on Monday at various locations around the city. If you're interested in that, there's a website you can go to. All you got to do is go to like Google or your preferred search engine, DuckDuckGo or whatever you use, and you search for Arkansas. I'm going to do this live so you can kind of see how this plays out. Arkansas Voter View. That's what you're looking for. If you're looking for information, sample ballots, things like that, just Google or search DuckDuckGo or whichever. Arkansas Voter View. The very first one that should come up is a website. It's like voterview.ars-nova.org, blah, 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 whatever. And it takes you to the Secretary of State's place where you can put in your name. You can check your registration there. It asks you your first name. It has to be your first name. Like, my name's Brad Schmidt. I've been Brad since I was a little one, and nobody ever really calls me Bradley. My mom doesn't even really call me Bradley. I think the only person that I can really think of that ever called me Bradley with any sort of consistency was my grandmother, and when I was a kid, my neighbor, for some reason, liked calling me Bradley. And so you have to put in your full name. So if like you're like me, Brad, you go by Brad, or you go by Nate, or whatever your name is, Nathaniel. You got to put in your full name, just your first name. You don't need your middle name or anything like that. So then you put in your last name, of course, in the next little thing. It asks you for your date of birth, of course, month, day, and year. And because I'm, beginning to get up there in age and looking into beyond my midlife, I have to scroll down a little ways to get to the year. I was born in the 70s, so and then you just click on look up, and it gives you your political party registration, what precinct you're in. All of that information, what ward, district, all that kind of stuff. But it gives you not your ward in district, but specifically your precinct. But then if you click on, because the first thing that pops up is your sample ballot. And so you'll be able to then look through, you can vote for president, which congressional district you're in. So like I'm in congressional district 2, so I have the opportunity to vote for either French Hill or Marcus Jones. I don't have, Bruce Westerman or anybody else on my ballot. And then it shows, state treasurer, the various races that you can vote for, judges that would particularly be in your district, school board, stuff like that. And so it's actually very easy to find. Like I said, just Google Voter View, Arkansas Voter View, or DuckDuckGo Arkansas Voter View, and it'll bring you to that page where you can put your information in. And when you put your information in, it also gives you the locations of early voting sites that you can go to. So like basically all around the state, there's several of them, places that you can go for early voting for your district. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm looking through the lists that pop up for me, and it doesn't take me to to Fayetteville or Bentonville or anything like that. It has the kind of the locations in the local area or in the immediate area. So there's one on Baseline Road, there's one on Rawling Road, Orange Street in North Little Rock, John Barrow Road, Jacksonville, one on Markham, one in Sherwood, and so on. So you can find places where you can go early vote, and that's kicking off Monday. At most of these locations, all show 10 a.m. when they're open, or I'm sorry, 8 a.m. when they're open on Monday. And then on Saturday, the 26th, so next week, Saturday, the 26th, many of the locations don't open until 10 a.m. for early voting and then close at 4 p.m. for early voting. So we've essentially got 12 days of early voting. We've got Monday through Friday twice, so 10 days, and then 2 Saturdays. And the Saturdays have a little bit shortened hours for early voting. So I just want to get that out there because we're getting that time of year. I mean, we're what, 20 days away? Whatever it is. Texter says, site says not working properly. Well, that's weird. I'm not sure why it would do that. I literally just did it live as we were talking about it. Let me try it again. I used DuckDuckGo. Let me try Google real quick. Just see if that works. Arkansas voter view. Type that in. And there it is. First one, voter view, Arkansas Secretary of State. Click on it. And it takes me right to the page. Maybe it's something with your computer or whatever device you're using. Let me put my information in again real quick just to do it real time, just to make sure that it's working. Because it worked fine for me. And I'm not saying you're doing something wrong. I mean, there's a million reasons why it might not be popping up. I'm not sure why it would not be because, yeah, it shows up. There it is. Shows my political party registration, what precinct I'm in, early voting sites. It's all there. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure why you're having that issue. Texter says maybe you have to enable cookies. That could be something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure why it would say that why it is not allowing you to get on there, because it's working fine for me. So if anybody else is having trouble, let us know. Shoot us a text message, 501-403-KRN. If you're struggle with numbers or letters and you're in Bossier City, it's 501-403-5276. Just shoot us a text message and say, I was able to get in or didn't get in. But so I bring this all up just because, as I've said several times, over the last couple of days, all week this week, really, one of the things that's going to be kind of constantly in the background for the next couple of weeks on the Schmidt Show is call me and tell me about your preferred candidate. I don't care what district. I don't care what race. I don't care what position or any of that. I won't push back against you. I won't mock you, make fun of you, or argue with you. Just feel free to call in and tell me your preferred candidate. For example, the very first office up for election on my ballot, of course, is the presidency. That's the big one. Then Congress District 2. And then state treasurer. So you can vote for Libertarian Michael Packo. You can vote for the current Secretary of State, who appears to be office hopping over to the state treasurer, John Thurston. Or you can vote for the Democrat, who is also running, John Pagan. So tell me your preferred candidate. Like I said, I won't mock you, make fun of you, talk about you behind your back or any of that kind of stuff. That's going to be kind of a constant discussion for the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to the election and all that kind of stuff. I want to give people a fair opportunity to share their preferred candidate. Like in my case, I don't have an option for District 70. I'm in District 77 as my legislative district for the House of Representatives. I don't have a Republican to choose from. Excuse me, those of you watching on the stream just saw me sneeze. I don't have a Republican to choose from. I don't have a Libertarian to choose from. The only option I have to vote for in District 77 is Representative Fred Allen, who is the Democrat, or I just leave it blank, right? And so you may not have a particular preferred candidate in your legislative district, but that's fine. Tell us about whatever other candidate you're voting for, or you prefer for whatever race. So I want to give folks the opportunity to kind of have that discussion. So 501-403-KRN, 501-403-5276. Some of the other stuff we're going to talk about today, the story last night, the big news was Kamala Harris went on with Brett Baer, and I'm fairly certain I witnessed a murder live on national television. That was ugly. It did not go well for Kamala Harris. I got a bunch of audio from that, So we'll talk a little bit about that today. The Bachelorette. You remember this guy, Josh something or another, Josh Sturm or something like that, from The Bachelorette, like 8 or 9 years ago. He back in May came out as transgender. He was doing the whole "I'm a woman now" and you know, all of the typical stuff about it. Well, it turns out he was faking it intentionally just for the purpose of being able to expose how gullible the left is. And so we'll talk about that. There's some audio from John Stossel. If we get time for it, we'll play some of that as well. Him talking about, you know, trusting the science and fat studies and how gullible many of these ridiculous and silly programs that are in our modern liberal arts colleges are just bunk and goofy. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. Elon Musk set up a supercomputer. This one is an incredible story. 100,000 GPUs, graphical processing units, 100,000 of them, set it up in 19 days, which is a stunning accomplishment. And we'll get to that and a whole lot more here on The Schmidt Show on News Radio 102.9 KRN.